modest. So just to go over what the goal of the workshop is, or the format of it, very much like you described, a lot of us have some creative thing that we have done in the past or that we've always wanted to do that we generally don't do. And even though we enjoy it tremendously, we don't carve out time, which is a very interesting thing. It's an interesting illustration of self-sabotage, how common that is. And I believe that creativity is for everyone. I don't believe that we can separate the world into talented and non-talented. I think everybody is somewhere on that spectrum. I think we all have things to offer. And I think in our culture, we tend to conflate artistic practice with, will it make me money or not? Because I think those are the values of our society. And if it's not going to make me money, if I'm not going to be a professional at it, then why bother? It's just a waste of time.
And that's one thing you emphasized during the creativity workshop was to not earn money from whatever it is that you were going to do.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that was a really interesting point, because one of the things that I immediately thought, I'm like, oh, I can get really good at this. And I can start selling whatever it is that I'm making. And this is great. It can be my creative outlet. It can be another source of income. But no. It's okay just to make something, just to be creative.
Just for me.
Right?
Just because it's fun. Just because it makes my soul feel alive. So we tend not to do this. So the workshop is all about exploring why we don't, how we get in our own way, and what advantages we have that we might not think of as advantages. So what are the different elements of being creative? And we break it down into 3 elements that correspond with the 3 instincts in the Enneagram. One is activating your creativity. What's the moment of inspiration? And how can you make that happen? Because we tend to think of that as something mystical, something that comes from outside, as opposed to something that you can induce. You can set up conditions that inspire you. You can put yourself in that space. It might be finding a routine or going for a walk or setting up your apartment in a certain way, but that brings you into that state where ideas start to come. The second thing is, how do you sustain it? How do you keep it going after that initial burst of inspiration? And then the third element, and just as important as the other 2, is how do I involve others? Whether I'm involving others as collaborators, as a sounding board, or as audience. Each of us is going to find one of those 3 elements easier than the other 2. In fact, we're going to find that element is really easy for me. And then each of us is going to find one of those 3 elements is really hard. And that's the blind spot. So that corresponds to the instincts. So the goal of the workshop is everybody leaves with a plan. Nobody at the workshop is woodworking. Nobody's writing poetry. Nobody's taking photographs. Nobody's dancing. Everybody leaves coming up with a plan of, I would like to spend this much time per day. This is a reasonable amount of time I can do this, or per week. My blind spot is going to get in the way in this way. So here's how my plan is going to incorporate for that. And here's somebody I can be accountable to, whether it's a family member or a therapist or a coach or a group. But here's somebody I can check in with and say, how did I do this week? Or how did I do this month? Did I do this thing that makes my soul feel alive? And if I didn't do it, why didn't I do it? And are the reasons that I told myself actually the truth? Or are they just beliefs? Are they more of the ways that I get in my own way and sabotage myself?